All right, grand rising, grand arrival, grand return, peace and blessings to the righteous and the repentant alike. I am Chief Sophia of the AmaruKhan Band of Indians, and this is a video. This is the second time that I've made this video. The first time, the sound was crazy, so here we are again, making this video again. And this is to wrap up, respond to whatever, a follow-up to the video that I made yesterday, where I do believe we have reached a agreement. It's not even tentative anymore. I think that we're, at least I feel like I'm on the same page with what's going on. And so I wanted to share a story that relates to what's happening. So first I'm going to read the story. This is from my Orthodox Study Bible. I will be carrying these for sale soon, but if you can't wait, go ahead and order you one off of Amazon or whatever. Really, really good version of the Bible. This version has the story of Susanna in here. Now, we've talked about a lot of different females in the Bible, but and we talked about Susanna briefly, but I don't think people realize how important this story is and how it explains what's going on perfectly. Many of the tarot readers have been picking up on this story, but they don't know this story, so they can't bring up the name and tie it together. But now I've heard this story described by the same reader twice, and she just literally don't know the story. So let's put the story in the ley line. So this is in the book of Daniel. This is actually the first part of Daniel. This is verses 1 through 64. They actually just call it a preamble, which, what kind of book in the Bible do you know got a preamble? That is neither here nor there. All right, so let's read the story. So I'm going to read, this is it. Okay. There was a man living in Babylon, and his name was Jehoiakim. He took a wife whose name was Susanna, the daughter of Hilkiah, a very beautiful woman, and one who feared the Lord. Her parents were righteous and taught their daughter according to the law of Moses. Jehoiakim was exceedingly wealthy, with a spacious garden adjoining his house, and the Jews came to him because he was the most honored of them all. In that year, 2 elders from the people were appointed as judges, concerning whom the Lord said, lawlessness came forth out of Babylon from the elders who were judges, who were supposed to govern the people. These men were frequently at Jehoiakim's house, and all who had judgments came to them. Now when the people departed at midday, Susanna would go into her husband's garden to walk. So the 2 elders would see her going in and walking about every day, and they desired her. They turned away their heart and averted their eyes from looking to heaven and from remembering righteous judgments. Both were pierced to the heart for her, but they did not tell each other their pain. They were ashamed to inform one another of their desire, because they wished to have relations with her. So every day they eagerly watched to see her. Finally they said to one another, let us go home, for it is time for the midday meal. And going out, they parted from each other. But turning back, they met again, where they pressured each other for a reason. They confessed their desire. Together they arranged for a time when they could find her alone. Then it came to pass, they were waiting for an opportune day. She went in as before with only 2 maids. She also wished to bathe in the garden, for it was hot. For no one was there except the 2 elders, who hid themselves and were watching her. She said to her maids, bring me oil and ointments, and shut the doors of the garden, that I may bathe. They did as she said, and closed the garden doors. They went out by the side doors to bring the things commanded, but did not see the elders, because they were hidden. When the maids left, the 2 elders arose and ran to her and said, "Look, the doors of the garden are closed, and no one will see us, and we desire you. Therefore, give us your consent and lie with us. If you do not, we will testify that a young man was with you, and because of this you sent your maids away from you." Then Susanna sighed deeply and said, "I am hemmed in on all sides, for if I do this thing, it is the death of me. Yet if I do not, I will not escape your hands. But it is better for me not to do it and fall into your hands than to sin against the Lord." Then Susanna cried out with a loud voice, and the 2 elders cried out against her. One of them ran and opened the garden doors. When the household servants heard the cry in the garden, they rushed by the side doors to see what had happened to her. So when the elders told their tale, the servants were deeply ashamed, for such a report had never been made about Susanna. Then it came to pass the next day, when the people assembled at the house of Jehoiakim, her husband, the 2 elders also came, full of their lawless purpose against Susanna, to have her put to death. They said before all the people, "Send for Susanna, the daughter of Hilkiah, who is the wife of Jehoiakim." So they sent for her, and she came with her parents, her children, and all her kindred. Now Susanna was very desirable and beautiful to behold. However, she was veiled. Thus the lawless men commanded she be unveiled, so as to enjoy her beauty. But her friends and all who saw her wept. Then the 2 elders arose in the midst of the people and laid their hands upon her head. She wept and looked up to heaven, for her heart trusted in the Lord. The 2 elders said, "As we were walking in the garden alone, this woman came in with 2 maids, closed the doors of the garden, and dismissed the maids. Then a young man who was hidden came to her and lay with her. Now we were in a corner of the garden and saw this lawlessness. So we ran to them and saw them having relations. But we could not hold the man, for he is stronger than we. He then opened the doors and rushed out. So we seized this woman and asked her who the young man was. But she was unwilling to tell us. Thus the assembly believed them, as they were the elders and judges among the people. So they condemned her to death. But Susanna cried out with a loud voice and said, "O eternal God, who know both what is secret and all things before they come to be, you know these men testified against me falsely, and behold, I shall die, though I did none of the things they wickedly invented against me." The Lord heard her voice, and as she was being led away to be put to death, God aroused the Holy Spirit of a young boy, whose name was Daniel. He cried out in a loud voice, "I am innocent of the blood of this woman." So all the people turned to him and said, "What is this thing you said?" Then he stood in their midst and said, "Are you such fools, O son of Israel? Without examination or knowledge of the evidence, have you condemned a daughter of Israel? Return to the place of judgment, for these men testified against her falsely." So all the people returned with haste. The elders said to him, "Come, sit in our midst and inform us, for God gives you that privilege." Daniel then said to them, "Separate them far from each other, and I will examine them." When they were separated from each other, he summoned one of them and said to him, "You old man of evil days, now the sins you have committed in earlier days have come home. For you pronounce unjust judgments, condemn the innocent, and set the guilty free. Yet the Lord said, you shall not kill the innocent and the righteous. Now then, if indeed you saw her, tell me, under which tree did you see them being intimate with each other?" He replied, "Under a mastic tree." Daniel then said, "Plainly, you lied against your own head, for even now the angel of God receives the sentence from God, and he shall cut you in two." Then he removed him and commanded them to bring the other. He said to him, "You seed of Canaan and not of Judah, beauty deceived you, and desire turned away your heart. This is how both of you deal with the daughters of Israel, and they have been intimate with you through fear. But the daughter of Judah would not endure your lawlessness. Now then, tell me, under which tree did you catch them being intimate with each other? He replied, under the evergreen oak. Daniel said to him plainly, you also lied against your own head, for the angel of God is waiting with his sword to cut you in two, that he may destroy both of you. Then the whole assembly cried out with a loud voice and blessed God, who saves those who hope in him. So they rose up against the two elders, for Daniel convicted them out of their own mouth of bearing false witness. And they did to them the thing they maliciously intended to do against their neighbor. For acting in accordance with the law of Moses, they put them to death. Therefore, innocent blood was saved that day. Hilkiah and his wife praised God for their daughter, with Jehoiakim, her husband, and all her kindred, because nothing shameful was found in her. Thus Daniel had a great reputation among the people from that day onward. That story is important because Susanna goes on to become the queen of Judah. Jehoiakim becomes the king. Susanna becomes the queen. That's a really, really important story. It also delineates specifically that it was her own people who did this to her. It was people who looked like her. Now, Jehoiakim, he was a Babylonian, or he wasn't necessarily a Jew. Let's put it that way. He became the king of Judah, but he wasn't necessarily from the tribe of Judah or whatever. Susanna was, but Jehoiakim wasn't. And so this is to say that these people who are the loyalists to the Haitian Empire, these individuals are people who are part of our community. These are the quote unquote elders in our community. These are the people who are selling out the daughters. And they're doing it because, unlike the daughters of Israel, who will lie with them to preserve and protect their own life, the daughters of Judah won't. I serve the Creator. There's nothing that you can do that's going to get me to go against that. No matter what you try, no matter how hard you try, it's not going to happen. And so, as a result, look at what they did to Susanna. And she said it. She said, if I do it, I'm cursed. And if I don't do it, I'm cursed. Why? Because she becomes queen after this. Jehoiakim was the richest. He was bound to become king. Okay, understand that the person with the most money is the one who becomes king. That's typically how it works. I don't know why people. I don't know what's wrong with people. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with people. Y'all want the poorest people to become the king. That's lunacy. Okay, it should be the person who is independently wealthy that becomes the king, not the person who needs the government to prop them up to become the king. Just my opinion. But Jehoiakim was bound to become king. Susanna was always bound to become queen. If she let these quote unquote elders manipulate her and abuse her, they could always hold that over her head, and that would influence the way that Jehoiakim ruled the kingdom, because she would always be trying to influence her husband to the desires of these two wicked elders. And therefore, this could have been a disaster for what Daniel ended up doing in his prophecies. I do believe that the ETs, whoever falls under that category, are willingly removing themselves from our women. Now, why would they attack our women? Because we were always destined to become queen. We were always destined to rule. Everybody knew that. That was well known, okay, in the universe, that we were destined to rule. And so they would, those wicked ones, the children of these elders, what did he call him? A son of Canaan, seed of Canaan. These Canaan seeds were always, what do you call the other one? Old man of evil days and Canaan seeds. These old men of evil days and these Canaan seeds wanted a way to retain the power of being judge, of being elder. They wanted a way to keep their titles. And so it seems to me that the plan they came up with was, in order for them to retain their titles, we could never come into the power of Susanna. We could never pray the prayer of Susanna and be heard by the Lord, by the Creator. And so that's what their plan was, because Susanna's prayer was heard because she was innocent. So one of the things they tried to do was make us not be innocent. They tried to take our innocence, our literal innocence. They tried to take our chastity, our personal chastity. They tried to take our turn our hearts from God and from the Creator entirely. They tried to make us sympathetic to the elders, to these evil men of wicked days and the seed of Canaan. They tried to make us sympathetic to them. They tried to fearmonger us into going along with what they were asking for. They committed a great multitude of sins in order to convince us that we had to do this thing that they wanted. And so, as a result of that behavior, those choices, our women have been led astray. But again, this only worked because these Canaan seed, these evil men of old days. Did you say evil men of old days? Really? Old man of evil days. Interesting. Old man of evil days. So these men of evil days, timing, okay, and these seed of Canaan, these individuals, they cannot interface with these extraterrestrials. So what they did was they commanded the demons to possess men, different people, and they would have the men, or whoever the person that was possessed by the demon, interact with the ET via the ET possessing the child, i.e. the movie ET. And so, but then what they did was they started to abuse the ETs, because these men, these demons, these seed of evil days and these Canaan seed, they have these outrageous lustful desires. They cannot control themselves. And so that's what they commanded. They commanded these demons to interact with these children that the ETs were possessing. Unknowingly to them, they gave the ETs the opportunity to have the human experience and make the decision on good or evil. This is not a thing that the ETs had before. This is why the entire universe is upgrading. I assumed it was just the earth that was upgrading, but it's the entire universe that's upgrading, because the wickedness of these men of evil days, reaching into the extraterrestrial community, whatever you call it, as a result of their literal behavior, they called down the cosmic justice. And I've been talking about the cosmic mother. These people were just talking about their little Leviathan mother, Mommy Wada, whatever her name was. They was calling on that mother, the dark mother, who would always, give them some kind of whatever. Now you have the actual cosmic mother that's reaching in to assist with what's going on. Because they were messing with the cosmic order. It's one thing to keep persecuting us down here on this planet. Then you get the wrath of this planet. They're getting the wrath of the cosmos put down on them. as a result of what they've done. It's these people, these evil men, wicked men of evil days. He's an old man of evil days. These old men of evil days and these Canaan seeds, these loyalists to the Haitian Empire who on one hand want to be the judges, they want to be the elders, but on the other hand, they can't control their lustful desires. And so it is that which has caused this cascade of events to take off. So what we are supposed to do as the daughters of Judah, the daughters of Zion, even the daughters of Israel, and the daughters of the daughters of Israel, he calls them. We have to pray this prayer that Susanna prayed, which is, "Oh, eternal God, creator of all things, who know both what is secret and all things before they come to be. You know these old men of evil days and these Canaan seed testified against me falsely, and behold, I shall die, though I have done none of the things they wickedly invented against me." We didn't do any of the stuff that they said we did. Some of it was done in the dream realm, which is like, oh yeah, this person, she was sleeping around with other people. Because in my dream, I was really pissed off because I was like, I have an old man. What is wrong with you? Like, I'm in a bed with my old man, and this man is trying to be sexual with me. Unacceptable. Outrageous. And so I'm still quite sick. Oh my gosh. This congestion is horrible. So these people are doing stuff, saying that we did stuff that we didn't do in the physical realm, lying and saying that we're, being malicious, we're killers, we're this, we're that, and we didn't even do any of this stuff. It wasn't even real. It was perhaps in the dream realm and perhaps not at all. But they've been the ones that were in charge of calling the judgment, or they've been manipulating the ones who called the judgment. And therefore, these old men of evil days and these seed of Canaan have to be removed. But it's not our job to do that. All Susanna did was call down her protection. She said, "You know these men testified against me falsely, and behold, I shall die, though I did none of the things they wickedly invented against me." And if these people were questioned at all by any authority in the universe, it would be obvious that they were lying. For example, how is it that in the 1970s, out of nowhere, everybody who had dark skin in this country came from Africa? And prior to that, we all knew we were from here. And then all of a sudden, they told all these college students, because my mom was in college at the time and she told me about this. They started telling all these college students, yeah, y'all are all from Africa. Look at the slave manifest. And then people don't know that the slave manifests are open source. So you could, someone in your family, some old man of evil days or Canaan seed, could go and actually write y'all family names in the manifest. Because before that, we all knew we were from here. And then after that, we're not from here. So now the whole thing is, the younger people my age and younger are like, wherever your grandmama, your great-grandmother said you was from, that's where you from. No more believing these people who have written these books, made millions and millions of dollars off of saying we was from Africa and selling that crap to our people, you know, some of them are from Africa. If you are a demonic nine member, if you're a Haitian loyalist member, you are more than likely from Africa. But Africa is Ethiopia. That's a whole nother thing. There's Ethiopia, that's Africa. The Haitian Empire was also there. They have a lot of stuff going on. I cannot breathe. This is taking a lot out of me. The point of the matter is, I am not going to blame the ETs for the manipulations that have been done by these old men of evil days and these Canaan seed. I don't think it's fair to do that. I don't think it's right. Can we trust all of them? No, I wouldn't say that either, because they did willingly decide to work with these old men of evil days and these Canaan seed. They did. They willingly decided to work with them. However, given the fact that they are voluntarily removing themselves from our energy so that these old men of evil days and these Canaan seed no longer have the ability to monitor us, because truth be told, we're the looking glass. They used us, our physical bodies, to see what was happening next. Most of people's dreams are prophetic dreams, our people. And so they would literally look and see what was happening in our dream realm. They would go back and report it to these old men of evil days and these Canaan seed, and that's how they knew what was coming next. We were the looking glass. Project Looking Glass was them looking through our dreams and seeing what was going to happen. That's why some people have been reporting that they can't see what's going to happen next. That was for our protection, because these people were using our dreams literally to see what was going to happen next. And so it had to be shut down for a time so that we could be protected. The future could be protected. Oh, okay. So how do I even put this? So basically what I'm saying is, we are going to proceed cautiously with the ETs. They have to be willing to contact us as we are. We're not making no special accommodations, because at the end of the day, we're the queen. We're the queens. Like, we were always going to rule. And so everyone knows that. Like, there's no getting around that, like, that fact. This story wouldn't be the way that it is if that weren't true. So we were always going to rule, so they can interact with us on our page. But I feel like the total elimination of the Haitian Empire loyalists is it's not negotiable. It's going to happen, and it's not even anything. Again, we don't have to do anything. Susanna just cried out and said, "I'm going to die if something doesn't unless someone intervenes. Like, I'm going to die." And basically something intervened. And so that's what we do. We do our part, which is, hey, universe, and which we have been doing. Our women have been crying out and saying, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. Someone has to intervene. And that is when Daniel stood up and he made the truth be known through his interrogation, which, as I mentioned in my video that I made the first time, was very, very Solomon-like, because Solomon, what did he do? He separated the two women and he asked her, "Is this your child? And he asked, is that your child? And both, of course, yes. But so he said, okay, well, I'm going to cut the baby in half. Again, he told these men they was going to be cut in half. I'm going to cut the baby in half, and I'll give you half and you half. And the one who was not the mother was okay with that. And the one who was the mother was not okay with that. She said, I would rather the baby live than you cut the baby in half. And that's how Solomon knew. So this reasoning process of separating the suspects and interrogating them separately, which the police, do when they interrogate people, except they do it with wickedness. And they have their own agenda in there, so they just do a terrible job at it. But this is very Solomon-esque what he did, Daniel. And remember, he's a very young man at this time. They don't even say how old, but he was a young man. It doesn't say, but that's how he gained the respect. Because if you read the story of Daniel without this part, you never really understand how he became a prophet or a judge, how he became so, loved. And this is how, because he protected the future queen of Judah. And that affords you quite a bit of respect. So again, I do feel like I said, I don't know if all the ETs are here to help us. I'm not willing to say that. But what I will say is that these Haitian Empire loyalists and these evil men, old men of evil days, and these Canaan seed, whoever these judges are, Daniel must arise and call them out and pick apart their story. I don't know who that is. I pray to God it's not me, because I don't want that kind of responsibility. But it has to be done, because that's the only way the people will realize the truth. Because we could scream from the rooftops like, I'm innocent. What she did, I'm innocent. I didn't do this thing. But because in the eyes of the world, of humanity, we have been so demonized, we have been so polarized, and lots of women, like Daniel said, have given into these people. They've given into them. And so we just look crazy when we say no. I'll never give into their God. I'll never worship their God, whoever their God is. I won't do it. And because so many of our women are willing to do whatever it takes for the dollars, it makes us look like, when the ones who do say stuff like that, we're lying or we're bitter, or, it's because we don't have X, Y, and Z. I'm just hating on my sister. Absolutely not. I could scream till I'm blue in the face that I don't want to live the way that these people are living. I don't desire that. But they say, oh no, if it came down to it, you would take the money. No, I won't. No, I won't. How can you possibly say that about me? How could you be so disrespectful of our women to think that we're all cool with what they talking about, what they doing, all of this stuff? We're not cool with that. You got a bunch of dumb chicken-headed broads out here. Why are you putting us in? I'm a mom. Like, why are you putting me in the same category as these women who don't have no fruit? They have not bared no fruit. And the fruit that they have borne is wicked. Like, you going to put me in the same category as a person who is sending their kid to a public school, who won't take a single day off to go and figure out what's going on with their kid, who doesn't devote their 24/7 life to their children? That's who you put me in a category with? Get out of here, man. That's crazy. Why would you do that? And Susanna didn't even do anything wrong. It was her husband's property. Everybody was gone. She wanted to take a bath. Where did she go wrong? See, this is the thing I have been asking myself. If it was something that I did, what was it? Where did I go wrong that this thing is happening? Like, what was it? And I couldn't find nothing. I kept saying, well, maybe it was this. But I'm like, no. I did the best I could with the situation I was given. I made what I thought was the righteous choice at the time. Every time. And them trying to gaslight me into making me think that I didn't, that's crazy. And with the story of Susanna, you can see it's true. What was she going to say? Man, I wish I hadn't taken a bath. Get out of here, man. This is what they want you to believe. Man, it's your fault you took a bath. What? It's my fault in my property that I took a bath when nobody was there. That's my fault? Oh, get out of here. This is what they want us to do. Oh, it's your fault you're suffering. Look at what you should have did this. You should. Nah, son. No, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. I did the best I could with the information I had, and every choice I made was a choice that I believe was righteous at the time. Period. You can't take that away from me. They couldn't take it away from Susanna. All she could do, again, was proclaim her innocence, and then Daniel came along and unveiled it. That's it. The Holy Spirit was aroused. That's a term they use. The Holy Spirit was aroused inside of this young man. And we did our part. We cried out. Now the Holy Spirit has to be aroused within our young men. And hopefully they're not going to be freaking co-opted by the Hebrew mind virus, or, these ultra-religious, anti-feminine organizations, these schools. I mean, this is why they attacked our young men so heavy, because they knew a Daniel was coming. If Susanna was here, they knew a Daniel was coming. And they really have done everything they can to target our young men. And you could see that. And so this is why we have to protect our children at all costs, especially our young men, any young men. They all have the opportunity to arise and become a Daniel in someone's story. And that's what we need. We need more Daniels. We need more Daniels. They all have the opportunity to become a Daniel in someone's Susanna story. And that's exactly what we need, because they are the pure ones who the Holy Spirit can be aroused in. And so that's just a quick little update. The story of Susanna. This Bible got a book in here called The Wisdom of Sirach. The Wisdom of Sirach is a book that every single teenager should read before they go to college. I thought the Wisdom of Solomon was good. No, the Wisdom of Sirach is like the Wisdom of Solomon. I mean, Wisdom of Solomon might be good. Let me say, I'm thinking of the songs, the Song of Solomon. I don't think we have the Wisdom of Solomon in the regular Bible. Yeah, I don't think we have the Wisdom of Solomon in our regular Bible, but the Wisdom of Sirach, oh, this tells you how to do everything. This literally lays out how to look at people, how to make decisions. I mean, if I had read this book as a teenager, my life would be so much better right now, like 100,000%. It's got a lot of really, really good stuff in the Wisdom of Sirach. So we'll probably put that in the ley line too, as I get my ability to speak back. But I wanted to obviously update people with my position. Let's give the ETs a chance to make it right. I think that's fair. So, peace and blessings, and we'll see you in the next video.